Hello, everyone. Welcome to our team call, our one-a-month call at the moment. Lovely to have you all on. Looking forward to chatting with you tonight and going through some science with you. First of all, though, we would like to have Ali and Kev. Do you want to introduce Ali and Kev?
Yeah, I would. So Ali and Kev have very kindly agreed to come on and share a little bit about their experience so far in doTERRA. So they joined doTERRA on Christmas Eve, great time to join, 2017. And they hit gold in November 2018. So you guys have grown, really quickly, and I know you haven't been without your own personal challenges. So, you're both so inspiring. We recently had the pleasure of hearing them both kind of present and speak just very recently, and both very inspired by you, and just thought it would be really lovely and beneficial for other people to get to have a piece of you as well. So thank you very much for agreeing to share a little bit about your oil experiences and your business so far, and any tips.
Kev's a very funny man as well.
That's what he says about you, yeah.
That's a problem.
Very important, obviously, to do the business. You've got to be funny.
It's a key one. It's a key one.
One of the main things we've always said is listening to you two reminds us of us as a couple, really, in terms of the banter and just how real you are with each other. So, yeah, relate to that. And I said to him when the request came through today, he was like, "Oh, we should both speak." He's like, "No, that's definitely a request for you."
Like, I haven't got a message from Rebecca. I don't.
Sorry, Kev, here's your request. Kev, can you please speak as well?
I'll do it.
Okay, Dan.
So, yes, we're privileged to speak tonight, really, because our journey began just over a year ago, as Nathan and Rebecca have shared, and actually our journey began with our youngest daughter because she has a lot of health issues, and we were looking for something natural to help her sleep. She was having really, really bad nightmares every night. And from that, it meant she was shouting out, "Mummy, make them stop, doctors are hurting me." And we realised when she had words that actually the medication that she was having and the interventions she was having were really damaging for her. At least she couldn't get to sleep. And so we asked for a sample of an oil that helped her to do that, so some natural solution, which it exactly did. And the first night we used the lavender, it actually gave her a night's sleep, which was amazing, and me a night's sleep for the first time in 3 years, which was kind of life-changing for me too, as a mum. And then from there, Kev was the person that said...
Well, I said that was a fluke, by the way. So just, I was like, yeah, good one off. You were obviously tired. Well done.
You were exhausted, Ali. It must have been that. Yeah. And then the next night it worked again, and he said the same thing with a little less conviction.
Yeah.
And it kind of grew from there in terms of belief in the product. And also she has overextending joints, so she has a lot of pain that experts say is like arthritis. We don't really know. She doesn't verbalise a lot of that yet. But what we saw as a difference is when we massage the deep blue into her joints, she can get up and chasing her sister within about 5 minutes in the morning, as opposed to about half an hour of getting up and being very, very stiff to move around. So there were two things that she led us to, and we're very grateful she did, because it was just for her that we were looking. And then from there, we kind of got very, very excited about what we had our hands on. So crazily, starting to share Christmas Eve was based on the fact for a month I'd used oils with Ellen, and they'd made huge changes. So it sounds like a crazy decision, Christmas Eve, and it kind of was, but actually for us it was sit down and have time to talk to somebody about what we could do about sharing, and we did that with Peter. It didn't happen until Christmas Eve because we're very, very busy people. We have 4 children. We both had, at the time, pretty much full-time jobs, and a lot of commitments around hospital and everything else with Ellen. So we didn't see ourselves as people with time. But then what happened from there kind of changed.
Yeah.
And we got very excited over the Christmas period. I got very excited, particularly Kev uses the oils massively too. he's excited and also committed to a big full-time job at the moment. What I've been able to do since discovering how amazing the oils are is not only help Ellen, but we've changed our way of life as a family. And then from there, we've also been able to, for me, reduce my hours at work so I can actually make sure, because with Ellen, her condition, for people who haven't heard our story before, her condition is life-threatening. So each time she gets shocked or her blood sugars drop or her body starts to fight another illness, she can die from that. And it's quite a stressful thing to manage for her, for us, for anybody who looks after her. And the business has given us the opportunity, or me the opportunity, to be nearer to her each time she might experience those things. And so just in this first year, from me working fairly full-time as a learning support coordinator, I've been able to step back from quite a bit of that and be on call for her. So from her school to me at home is 5 minutes, me at work is 20 minutes. And that's a journey from hell when I know she might die from what she's dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So whilst we're like all happy about all of that, it's an incredible thing to be able to offer her the support naturally and also be able to be there for her every time she needs me, which is my whole motivation. It's never been about money. Our story's been quite quick. We've built a business to gold.
It's never been about money for Al.
We built a business to this gold level, which really I didn't really understand what that meant. I remember saying to Kev in the early days, gosh, this money's coming into the account. I don't even really know what that means. How's that happening? Can you look at the pay plan? That'd be handy, because I don't really know what's going on here, except that I was passionate about the oils and what they did for Ellen and what they did for then us as a family, and how quickly it's become a way of life. We don't turn to conventional medication now. Our natural go-to is the oils. You know, it might be pain relief, headaches, sleep, stress, whatever is going on. We've had a really stressful week as a family with different diagnoses for our parents and cancer and all sorts of stuff going on, but we just turn to the oils. That's our way of life, and it's only 14 months or something.
Yeah.
But now it's very empowering, and the girls have grown up with that. They know that. They go into the box and go, right, they don't know all the names properly. They'll say tummy drops, cough drops. Lemonuca is there, Melaleuca. They've got that. They know what things mean, and it's really empowering for them. So
yeah, I mean, even tonight, Jess struggles emotionally sometimes, and she was having a little bit of a stress tonight because I wanted her to go to bed quickly rather than spend ages. So obviously it took ages rather than went quickly. But she said she was getting a bit upset, and she went into the bathroom. I was like, "What are you doing in there?" And she said, "Oh, I'm looking for balance." There wasn't any in the bathroom. It was down here. But
you'd like to put it on.
There, so, yeah. But then she's, so she's starting to realise, right, actually that helps me, and I can go and reach for that myself, So it's really, really
empowering.
Cool for kids.
Lovely.
So Nathan and Rebecca asked us to share a little bit of our story, which hopefully we've done within that.
Yeah.
But then three things that we feel really have sort of helped us move forward. So we sort of jotted things down between us. I would say clear goals and a reason why have been my biggest thing. I don't look back. I always just go forward. Days can be difficult, ups and downs. People respond, they don't respond. As long as you've got a reason why, you'll always work towards that. So I would say have a clear goal. And if you don't have one yet, link with your upline, link with the person that's sort of helping you in the business, and find what works for you, or do sort of a goal setting exercise, which we did at the recent event. Do something like that. I would say reach out and be consistent. So do a little bit every day. For me, it's been pockets of time. I've never had whole days to put into the business at all. I still don't. In fact, I massively don't at the moment. There's so much upside down and back to front within our family. Just commit to doing what you can do in pockets of time each day. I will make sure I do an hour or so at least on the business each day. It might be, my hour might be 6 o'clock in the morning. It just depends what's going on, but commit to that every day. some point every day you're working on the business. Ideally a couple of hours plus, I would recommend. For us, for Gold in 11 months, we were probably working more than that. I would say 3, 4, 10 sometimes.
When we're awake?
Yeah, I was pretty busy with it. If you want that quickly, then commit that time. It's up to you. You know, if you want to do that journey quickly and you want to get to Gold quickly, and that's an income or a life situation that's changing for you, then commit those 10 hours a day. It's up to you. But I would say at the moment, maintaining and my pockets of time, you know, 3 hours a day plus is kind of where I'm working to sort of hit those goals and make those differences in our life. And then my biggest thing, the biggest difference I think I make in terms of interactions with people is being excited and passionate. Because we have something incredible to offer, and I can't help but share it in that way. And I think if you come across that way, that's the biggest feedback I get from one-on-ones with people or classes or you know, sharing on Zooms. That's what people come back and say. Your passion makes me excited about this. And actually, I'm so excited, and I wish I'd found it years and years ago. How come I didn't know about this? And that's where I share from, because this is the best thing we have in our hands, and we're in a company that's the most altruistic, sharing, giving, genuine company I've ever come across. And I've always worked in industries about making a difference. So they'd be my tips. Share from that within you, and it'll be amazing.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. You did that perfectly.
It's very inspirational. I didn't actually know that you were doing it like part-time, really, and I think that's amazing. It's very tough to do that. But amazing that you've done it and made it to Gold in that time. It just shows that you can fit it around it. Well done, guys. It can be done.
Absolutely. You know, when you've got a big why, like you're saying, you can make it happen. They're brilliant tips. Thank you so much for sharing, guys.
Thank you for asking us. Yeah, thank you.
It just goes to show a lot of times you're busy making people that are busy.
Exactly.
You can fit it in even when you're really busy, right?
Yeah. I mean, busy means my priority isn't there, right? That's what it really means. You know, I'm a bit too busy means I haven't made it a priority, but it's a priority because, you know, what gets us out of, you know, gets Ali out of work, and so that she can be with Ellen or be available for Ellen, is that, and you know, eventually gets
actually that bit of the story is really the ambulance journey. If we're home, the ambulance journey's done. If I'm at work, it's a journey from hell to get to her. That's as simple as that. It's never about money for me. It's about choice.
Yeah.
And as soon as I can guarantee her I'll always meet that ambulance journey, that's my thing done. Really. And it'll be more exciting from there. I know it will, but that's it.
Absolutely. That's amazing. And that's what drives you. And that's what makes rejection okay. That's what makes, you know, spending every second of your spare time doing it okay. And, you know, that's what you're building for the future. And that's what you're going to get because of it. So
thank you so much for sharing, guys. Really, really appreciate that.
And guys, just so you know, there are more people like Ali and Kev out there. So if you want someone like Ali and Kev on your team, you know, this is it. They only joined a year ago. You know, that could have been you speaking to them and helping their daughter, you know. So, you know, every rejection just brings you closer to someone that desperately needs this oil. So, you know, it's just lovely.
5 Ali and Kevs in your blue diamond.
Yeah, exactly. It's your present. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.
Okay, so back onto announcements.
Okay. So just a couple of announcements. We're very excited to announce that there will be a UK boot camp in August, towards the end of August. So EU Live a Cause, which run the boot camps, and they've just ran one in Spain. They do them in Portugal. They've done them in the UK before, but they're now it hasn't been for like 2 years. So now running one again. It's It's for elites and above. You can book it now, planning to be elite. You've got to be elite when you make it, otherwise you won't be able to go.
And they do get booked up quickly, because how many tickets? Do you know how many tickets available this time? There's not very many. They like to make them quite small and intimate.
Generally about 150, so this one will absolutely sell out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They're going there quickly.
So book your tickets. Thought I did. And I'll just... Can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see the picture of the jury's in? You can't.
If you share, just skip. I don't know if you share.
I don't know if I shared it all.
Desktop.
Let me share it. Oh, desktop. There we go. Okay. Okay. So just to give you, it is the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of August. Okay. It's really good. I think they're having a presidential diamond from America coming over. I've forgotten which one they're having. Might say it on here. I do know it, but I've forgotten. I'll find out for you. But it's in Milton Keynes. It's going to be a great event. So I think the tickets have gone on pre-sale, and that will end on the 9th of March. So if you want to buy them and book it for the cheaper price, and also they may even get sold out by that time. So make sure you book it. All right, guys?
They are really good because they're intimate and you get to hear from different leaders, but it's more, you can get one-on-one time with some leaders as well, and really learn from each other. So everyone that's gone always just loves it, and it really helps their business thrive afterwards. We've attended a couple, and they're really good, really good.
Yeah, really enjoyed them. And it's a great, the main thing that you get out of it, to be honest with you, rather than the speakers, they're good. But the main thing is you get to be part of the community with different doTERRA people, different advocates in your same, at the same rank as you are, and you get to chat to them and see how they're building the business, and that is very inspiring in its own. And being there for a couple of days also, rather than just having an afternoon, or being really immersing yourself into it. Yeah. We also just wanted to talk about convention. So please book convention. If there is one thing you do, if it's one doTERRA event you do, it is convention. It must be. If you are building a business, or any of your builders are building the business, you must go to the convention. Okay? Don't want to put it any stronger than that. Now, I did used to, if any of you were at the beginning, the first year or two of us doing this, I kind of put people off going to those kind of things because I thought they were a bit rah-rah. But I actually hadn't been to one myself. So that was an error. Go to convention because they're really good. And I've just set up a convention Facebook group, which I'll post tomorrow. So it's going to have all the details, so we can say what hotels we're all booked into, so we can kind of be all near each other if we can, we can just see who's going, so we can get excited about it. People can share lifts or share rooms or whatever it is. So I'll put the Facebook group up. If you want to put people that are interested in there, in it, then put it into it, so we can get a buzz about convention going, so people just don't feel like, oh, I've got to go to Dusseldorf on my own. No, we'll all be together. It'll be really good fun. Okay.
And there's 2 leadership days the day before convention as well. So 2 business training days. So make sure you book your tickets to be able to arrive 2 days before. They're really good as well. Really good. It's the one time a year when you get all the leaders from across Europe speaking. Yes. So again, really helpful. And you know, if you're really serious about building your business, I say just immerse yourself in all these things. These are the things that really help to spur you on, and you'll always get inspired. And especially convention is the number one thing. Hearing from the executives as well is just huge. So definitely go. Your business is an investment, but one very worth taking.
And Rebecca's probably talking at one of those events, so it's really worthwhile going. All right. Okay. Oh. So just you all know about this, I'm sure. If you don't, where have you been? But it's a 200 PV promotion this month for the Deep Blue. And actually this year it's a duo, so you get the Deep Blue rub and you receive the Deep Blue 5ml, which is awesome. I did not do that last year, just the Deep Blue rub. So that's for the whole of March. So get it out there, let your teams know about that, and let your enrolments and LRP orders all know about it. Product of the month is lemongrass. You'll see on the Facebook groups, there's lots of, on all the Facebook groups about what lemongrass can do. And also Mitre 2 Max. There's 10% off Mitre 2 Max this month as well. Wanted to do a little bit of recognition.
February was a really hard month, by the way. So don't be too down on yourself if you didn't have a great month. It just makes these people stand out even more.
These people shine. So most of us didn't rank or do many enrollments, but these people that did, well done. Really
amazing.
Really shine. So Saskia,
50.
in Germany, Saskia in Germany.
Storming it, doing Diamond Club.
Yeah.
The Diamond Club definitely helps you to push your business forward.
Are you there, Saskia? Give us a wave. She's round. Emma with 14, Seb and Ali with 12, Sue and Andy with 12, Rachel with 11, Adele in Italy with 10. We had the opportunity to go and visit with Adele this month. See Dr. Hill as well, which we're going to talk about today, in Milan, which was lovely. Lovely seeing you there, Adele. And then Sally with 10. So well done, everybody.
Well done. That's brilliant.
February enrollments, well done. And we did get some people rank in February as well. So well done to all of our new elites. So we had John, we had Catherine, we have Pauline, we have Andrea, Tina, and Claire. Amazing, guys, in February. I don't normally clap on this. I should have checked. Feel it. You just feel it. And then Premier, we have one brand new Premier, Emma.
Excellent, Emma.
Congratulations, Emma.
As well.
And a high enroller, and I'm assuming she was a high enroller, and that helped her to rank. So well done, Emma. And then Denise hit silver in February. Is Denise on? Not sure she is. If she is, congratulations, Denise. And then we have one very special announcement, quite a unique announcement, but we have Lindsay and Daniel, and they made UK Founder for last year. So they are now UK Founders, which is a massive achievement.
Yeah, it's a massive accomplishment.
Yeah. So Lindsay joined. You were quite near the beginning, didn't you?
Quite near the beginning, yeah. But she was just having a baby at the time, so she, was a little bit distracted at the beginning.
But
they have it, and they're amazing leaders. They totally deserve this, and we're so happy for them. Really happy for them.
And Daniel joined the month they made UK Founder. No. It's been wonderful the last year and a bit that Daniel's been on board with Lindsay, and they've been properly going for this. So well done, guys. Congratulations on UK Founders. Amazing achievement. Now, they got the 6th place, 5th or 6th place there's 9 places for UK Founder left. Keep going, guys. All right. Oh, yeah. Is Lindsay and Daniel on?
Hello, yeah, we're here.
Hello, guys. I just muted you, sorry. Unmute yourself. You got to unmute yourself. Can't hear you.
Sorry.
Congratulations on UK Founder. Everyone was saying, please make them say something.
Pretty sure they weren't, but I am wearing the same jumper in that picture that I am now.
Thanks for pointing that out.
This is real life.
No shirt.
So you did not spend your UK Founder check on clothes?
No.
No, you spent it on skiing. It's all gone.
Fair enough.
Does it feel good to be UK Founder?
Yeah, it's amazing, but it's impossible to do by yourself, and that's one of the things I just love about doTERRA, having to the experiences that we've had getting there, and the people that we've worked with and seeing their journeys. And then it's just amazing. We feel really pleased and proud, and just been amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I think one of the things is just setting the goal. I think it was what Ali said before, is that we kind of set out, and it was a little bit late in the day, decided, right, we're just going to do it. And actually, I think mentally that makes such a big difference as to what you do. If you've just set your goal and you just absolutely gun it towards that goal. And we wouldn't carry on with the same pace forever, but I think if you set goals short term and then long term, then it does make a big difference. So yeah, it was a busy few months.
So it was fun seeing with you and working with you on it, and we're really, really proud. It was amazing.
One question: has it been easy? Was it easy to just fall in your lap, guys?
it was easy. No, it was,
Daniel did
really
all the
challenging.
work. It was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge, and there were a few times we thought, I don't think we're going to manage it.
Yeah, and there were setbacks, but the great thing is that you're part of a team, and we got quite creative sometimes with some things to make it happen, and having a strategy in place really helped to see it, and breaking it down into actual, kits, and seeing where people were. And then, it's just been...
And I think one of the things, and I think it's in one of Nathan's strengths, is positivity. Those chats when there's so much volume missing, and then you have a chat with Nathan and it totally feels within reach. And that's, those conversations. And you're thinking, we can totally do it. Having someone that knows what's going on, because it's positivity without action means nothing, but who knows what's going on, knows how this works, and knows what it takes as your mentor just makes such a big difference. So thank you guys so much.
You guys did all the work. Congrats, guys.
Well done.
Well done.
Amazing.
Okay, so over to this man via Rebecca.
Okay, so as Nathan said, we went to Milan recently to see this guy. So I recommend, if you ever get a chance to see Dr. Hill, then you go and see him.
Were you going to tell everyone first?
No.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I am. Okay, we're pregnant. I'm pregnant. So it's very early days, but I get extremely, extremely sick. So that's probably why Nathan's going to tell you, just in case I leave halfway through this presentation. So I'm only about 7 weeks pregnant. So we're excited. We're excited to be pregnant. But if I disappear for a couple of months, you know where I've gone.
We are really pumped about it.
Nathan is so pumped about it, aren't you? So excited.
Ecstatic. But back to you anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, we went to see Dr. Hill. So the first time I saw Dr. Hill in America, I was literally blown away because he really knows his stuff. And for me as a scientist, I used to be a science teacher, so I love to understand why these what they do. So for me, I just soak up every single word he said. So I'm going to try and summarize his 2-hour presentation, which was incredible, in about 30 minutes. Here we go. Can you just cancel that, baby?
Yeah.
We don't want to keep people here all night long. Here we go. There we go. I'm going to try and be quite quick. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about this book as well. So if any of you like science, then get this book called Essential Oils Unlocked by PJ Hanks. I think, PJ Hanks. It's really good to just give you the basic chemistry of essential oils. I'm not going to go into it too much. But if you want to know more about the chemical composition of essential oils, then that's the book to get. But basically, he was saying this: that essential oils are a complex mixture of highly volatile aromatic compounds produced naturally by plants. I am going to be looking at my notes, by the way, throughout this, because I don't have the same knowledge as Dr. Hill. I have 20 years of essential oil knowledge. This is quite interesting. But if you're not on mute, do you mind muting yourself? I think it just keeps coming off mute for some reason. So Dr. Hill basically was sitting in his office one day, and he decided there needed to be a qualitative a qualitative standard for essential oils, whereas up to this point, until doTERRA came along, there was only a quantitative standard. So you could say the quantity that was in essential oils, but there was nothing that said the quality. So this quantity of chemicals, for example, could easily come from synthesized material that was not a real, plant material. So doTERRA and Dr. Hill realized this has to happen for people to know that these essential oils are completely pure. So he came up with the CPTG. Now the certified pure, actually, that part of it is the analytical chemistry, which is basically looking at what's in the essential oil. And that's what a lot of companies, and you might come across people saying this, that a lot of companies do the analytical chemistry. And they do, a lot of companies do, but no companies do the biological chemistry. And that is what sets doTERRA apart, because the biological chemistry is actually looking into what these chemicals actually are and making sure they really are the pure chemistry that they should be, and coming from plants and not from something else. So these are the tests that doTERRA do. You can see there's 3 phases here. They never take shortcuts. Every single drop of doTERRA's essential oil is tested. So they never just do batch testing at all. And also they use many other third-party companies. So it's not just them saying that their essential oils are pure. They actually use third-party companies. And this is one of the largest research companies out there now that test essential oils, and they have all the equipment needed, the real up-to-date latest equipment to make sure that anything that is not pure will come out in their tests. So again, if you want to look into this, go onto their own website and you'll find information about this. So this is what CPTG does. It's testing them that only volatile aromatic compounds are in these oils. And now if you go back to the beginning, that is what an essential oil is. So if there's anything else in there, we know it's not an essential oil. But also the right molecules are in each essential oil. Okay, and we'll come across that in a little bit. Sometimes companies will use cheaper versions of oils, so they're making sure each essential oil has the right aromatic molecules for that particular essential oil. And then this part is huge, the potent concentration. So that is to do with, so they've checked that the right chemicals are in the essential oils, but then it's about whether they're in the right amounts. And that's what the potent concentration is. Because that will change completely the effect of the oil. So this stuff is all so important. And now, when the chemistry is inconsistent, there is inconsistency in benefit. And that is why doTERRA are so, into this, to make sure the chemistry is completely consistent in their essential oils, so that we can, when we put on that peppermint, we can get guaranteed that we're going to get the same benefits that we did when we used it before. Now, interestingly though, he did say that when it comes to doTERRA, you're never going to get one peppermint that is absolutely identical to another peppermint, because this is nature. So that's interesting to know. So although we're going to get the same benefits, it will never smell exactly the same or, have exactly the same chemistry, because nature does vary. So that's good to know as well. And because doTERRA, unlike other companies, they don't standardize their essential oils. They don't make everything the same, because when you're synthesizing something and, pretending something's something that it's not, then you can make sure everything is absolutely identical. Whereas doTERRA don't do that. It's nature. They just test to make sure that everything is pure and in its correct quantities. Okay, so Dr. Hill, in case you don't know, he is one of the executives, and he is actually the guy in charge of overseeing all of the scientists. And he oversees all the tests, so he makes sure that everything is done absolutely correctly, which is why he could stand there and say with absolute assurance and confidence that doTERRA do not take any shortcuts. He actually said this to begin with, which I thought was lovely. He said, you know, we work so hard in doTERRA, just like we do as advocates. They put everything into it. Last year, he was actually away 300 days from his family, which was, I thought, a huge amount. He also said he gets like 1,000 emails a day. So he is working very, very hard. And he also said that doTERRA is different. And from the beginning, what he meant by that is they didn't want to create an opportunity for people to go and make lots of money. That wasn't their main priority. But they wanted to create an opportunity for people to help others, which is, you know, you see it in everything doTERRA do, as, you know, as Ali and Kev were saying, they haven't come across a company like this with the same ethics. And it's so true. The more you get to know doTERRA, and that's why going to convention and events is so important, because that's where you really get the real feel of doTERRA. Okay, so here is a picture here. It might not mean anything to you, but he was just showing us pictures of where you can see the chemistry of the essential oils. And it's just, you know, a scientist will be able to see exactly what's wrong with this picture. But he was just trying to explain to us that when they look at other companies' lavenders, for example, and they've done this with many essential oils, you will see that there are certain chemical components that aren't in that lavender, that should be in the lavender. And then certainly the quantities of the chemicals are completely different. And you can see that with the red writing there. So it's just he was just basically saying that chemistry doesn't lie. You know, other companies can claim they've got really good essential oils, but the effects don't lie. And that's what we get to experience more. But when you go down to the chemistry, you can't fake chemistry. And this was really interesting. So they had 3 companies here. And what was interesting is that these companies where they were claiming was Melissa was actually pretty identical. Their chemistry was pretty identical to doTERRA's lemongrass. Now, you may have noticed with Melissa and lemongrass, they do smell similar. You know, they do have similar properties, they have similar chemistry, but they are also very different. And the benefits of Melissa are incredible. You know, lemongrass have great benefits too, but Melissa is a much more expensive oil. And when you're putting on a Melissa, you expect to have the benefits of Melissa and not lemongrass. And this is what is happening, is that most companies out there are selling Melissa, but it's actually lemongrass. And that's a very easy one to fake. So that's a common thing that a lot of companies do, which is why you can get cheaper Melissas. So this is why when we tell people, when it comes to these essential oils, you know, the price is absolutely right with these essential oils. When you start getting essential oils cheaper than what doTERRA is selling them for, then you know that's not the real thing. And so, you know, if people want the benefits that you're going to get from a pure essential oil, then you need to be willing to pay for a pure essential oil. And it's when you're paying for cheaper ones, you really do not know what you're getting. And most times it is a cheaper version of the oil, but in worst cases, they have horrible chemicals in them as well. And he went into that too. So he also mentioned that, you know, lots of companies will say they've got the same essential oils as doTERRA, the same quality and exactly the same oils that doTERRA do. And this cannot be true because you may or may not know this already, but 96% of essential oils that doTERRA now have are unique to doTERRA. So they're exclusive to doTERRA. So no other company can get them. It's exclusive along the whole chain, Dr. Hill said. And these farmers, because they're getting such great pay from doTERRA and getting treated so well, they will never leave doTERRA. So, you know, it's impossible for other companies to have the same essential oils as us, which is another reason why, you know, the business opportunity that we have, the product that we have, it's so exciting because no company can come in now and duplicate what doTERRA have done. You know, doTERRA have a monopoly on the essential oils. And he also said it was interesting a few years ago because doTERRA literally had complete monopoly on the world's frankincense. And other companies were still sourcing frankincense and selling it as pure frankincense. And Dr. Hill said that was absolutely impossible because they had all the frankincense. So, you know, it's just going to show that these companies were selling frankincense with absolutely no frankincense in. So it's just, you know, it's just eye-opening. Let's make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, so this is some of the analysis, just showing you kind of the journey, if you like, of the analysis that doTERRA are doing on their essential oils and how their research is growing and becoming so much more credible. So here we go. To begin with, they did tests on the human genome, which did take them several years. So, you know, they were founded in 2008, and the research wasn't quite there and the money wasn't quite there yet to be able to do this. But several years later, they were actually able to do tests on the human genome. So what that means is they were able to test every single essential oil on each of the human genes, so every specific human gene, and see how each gene responded to each essential oil, which was, you know, absolutely fascinating. So for the first time ever, Dr. Hill said they were actually able to see the effects of an essential oil. Rather than just having theories, they could actually prove it through this human genome testing. And he said they looked at DDR prime, for example, which we know has great cellular effects, definitely on the DNA. And they didn't have to keep guessing now. They could actually see which individual cells DDR prime affected. They then progressed to clinical trials, which is very exciting, because that's what I came across when I first started doing the business. People asked me, oh, do they do clinical trials? And doctors always want to know about that, and scientists always want to know. And yes, so they have been doing clinical trials, and they've got lots of research in this now. And they started doing entry-level trials on humans as well. And they've now published many of these human clinical trials. So that's also very exciting. And then the last thing they've been looking at is what's called receptor docking. Now, just to summarize what this is, each of our cells have receptors on, and it's looking at which essential oils bind to which receptors and what that reaction then causes. So they can actually identify, again, which essential oils have effects on which cells. And this is just an example of what they found. And we'll be talking about, time comes up quite a few times throughout his presentation, of being quite a very effective oil to have, actually. I don't think I use thyme enough, but after this presentation I've been upping my usage of thyme. But it just shows you, and you know, these receptor are like code names, they don't really mean anything, but it's showing you that depending on the receptor will depend on what the effect the essential oil has. So when we're looking up in our books and the apps and it says thyme is warming, it's not just a pie in the sky thing. They can scientifically prove that because of which receptor the thyme binds to. Okay. So this is a guy independent of doTERRA, but he did some research with the essential oils, with doTERRA's oils and other companies' oils as well. And he said that, and we've heard this before, but when you isolate chemistry, it does not work in the same way. And this is what many companies do. And modern medicine, not to say against modern medicine, modern medicine has its place, but often drugs will isolate chemistry and chemicals from the essential oils, and they won't have the same effect as the actual, you know, the whole essential oil. And also, he says, from different competitors, it often had opposite effect to what the doTERRA's essential oils had. So again, when you're not getting a pure oil, it's not the fact that you might not get, you know, you might get half the benefits, you might get the opposite effects. So it's really essential when we're educating people that we educate them that having a pure essential oil is absolutely vital for health. So oils are biologically active. he said. So biologically active means they're able to respond to living things. They're able to adapt. They're not just set, you know, they're alive in our bodies, interacting with our cells. Oils are selective. To what degree, they don't know yet, but it's definitely been shown that oils, so an essential oil, every essential oil does not affect every single cell in your body. So I used to say that, you know, you put 1 drop of essential oil on and it will go into every single cell in your body within so many minutes and have an effect. I've learned that that's not exactly true. So when you put an essential oil on, yes, that essential oil will get absorbed into your body and go around your body, but it's probably not going to enter every single cell, Dr. Hill said, and it's definitely not going to have an effect on every single cell. Okay, each essential oil will select the cells that it is destined to interact with, if you like. So every essential oil reacts differently with different cells in our body. And we don't need to understand that, and even the scientists don't understand that. But they are, if you like, they're smart, they're intelligent, they're living things that know which cells to interact with to have the benefits that we read about in the book, is basically what we need to understand. So oils are active at the surface of cells and have specific cellular targets. So that's kind of the same thing. So some essential oils will go into every single cell and interact with the DNA. Other essential oils will be active on the surface of our cells and interact with the receptors and will cause the chemical reaction. So hope I'm not losing too many of you. I love this chemistry. Okay. So let's see. Frankincense then. Before we go into frankincense, one interesting thing I've written down here is the On Guard Plus, which I absolutely love. One of the reasons we have that is because Dr. Hill used to make up his own capsules for years of oregano, On Guard and Melissa for immune boosting. He found those 3 oils in particular were great for immune boosting. So he said finally doTERRA made the soft gels for him, so it made it easier and we all get to benefit. So frankincense is one of those essential oils that does actually go into our cells, and again it's very selective. It will go into our cells and actually interact with the DNA of our cells. It's Dr. Hill's exact words were, frankincense seems to determine what the DNA code should be when the DNA code in the cell's nucleus is altered. Sandalwood, by the way, is very similar. So it seems to know what's missing in the DNA. So the DNA in our cell has been altered, frankincense can fix it, which is huge. And sandalwood also has similar properties. Frankincense also separates the brain of the cell, so the nucleus, from the body, and therefore it closes down the nucleus. So that's how it kills cells. So when we talk about frankincense's ability to kill cells, again, it's very selective. It won't kill healthy cells. It does that by separating the nucleus from the actual body of the cell, which causes cell suicide, which is just fascinating. Oh, here we go. That's a slide for you. Yeah, so it corrects the code, which I just think is fascinating, which is why, and Dr. Hill reiterated, this is why frankincense is one of the oils that should be taken daily, especially if you've got a chronic illness, but he says he takes it daily. And it's because it's correcting your DNA constantly and stopping things from going wrong. So this was an interesting story. So here's the picture of this little girl. She's a 3-year-old girl. This is a tumour, some form of from cancer on her face, and the main tumour there is on her nose. And this is the letter that Dr. Hill received. So here it says that, you know, they read about frankincense essential oil, and they've been using the frankincense now for 3 years on their daughter's face. And look, her tumours have shrunk and the redness is gone. You have to look very closely to see if anything is there at all. You know, there are miraculous things happening with frankincense all over the world. I have personal stories too, and you might also. But he did go to say that, you know, sometimes he'll recommend oils to people and they'll say that they didn't work. And then he later finds out they've only been using it for like 3 days. So, you know, this was used for 3 years. These people were very persistent and continually used the frankincense. So after 3 years, the tumour was pretty much gone. Okay, this is another lady who had an accident on her bike. So she had a really damaged face. As you can see there, that's the day of the accident. She used sandalwood and frankincense from the day of her coming home from hospital. So here's day one. So that was day one of her using the frankincense and sandalwood. Frankincense is so good for scarring and healing tissues. And sandalwood is, of course, as well. Day 3, I mean, look at that. I couldn't believe these. Day 6. Day 10. I mean, that is just incredible. And Dr. Hill said, you know, this is what we have come to expect from these essential oils, and we should expect from these oils. They are absolutely incredible, and they can work miracles. Sometimes it takes longer than that, but we should expect miracles from our essential oils there because of the chemistry. So he did say, you know, for lots of people, the essentials just work. And that's enough. And they don't need to know why. They feel good. And he was like, that's wonderful. But the great thing is that we have research to show anyone out there why they do work as well. So everybody can be, you know, happy using essential oils, whether you just like to, that you're fine with just the feel good factor, the placebo, or just the fact that essential oils make you feel better. If you want to understand it, then there is so much information out there now and all the research you would need. So he just gave a summary really of just talking about wood oils. So woody oils, you know, all the like balance, cedarwood, vetiver, but he also included frankincense and myrrh, even though they come from the resin. So they're the wood oils. Then the mint oils, and then the spice oils, clove, cinnamon. And he just wanted to kind of show us that if an oil is not working for you, then you can go to that family. So once you start to get to know essential oils, you can go to the same family, so the wood family, the mint family, the spice family, and if you don't know what they are, you can just Google it and use another oil. So again, when you're recommending an oil for someone and say peppermint isn't working for their headache, then look up another mint oil, you know, and try that. So there's always an oil that will work, but he did say that oils do work differently on different people because of the chemistry. He then went into a bit more deeper chemistry, so he went into different categories of the essential oils. So basically, you know, the essential oils are made up of carbon and hydrogen. That's their basic structure, but they also have these functional groups that make them to fit into different categories, and they'll have oxygen and other molecules, can't think of the word, but anyway, so you have different groups that you can put essential oils in depending on their functional group. So we're just going to briefly go through them, but again, you can Google them if you want to, you know which is in which group, but you don't really need to. Just knowing kind of what they do really. So thyme and oregano, they're kind of your spicy oils. They're your phenolics. So they look at thyme. Look at what thyme can do. So my suggestion, take-home message tonight, is that if you don't use thyme, start using thyme. It's got many, many properties. But again, depending on their functional group, they'll have similar properties as others in their functional group as well. Now, what he said is, because the essential oils work because of chemistry, that they will work independent of your own chemistry as well. So if your immune system is compromised, if something isn't working in your body, it's not dependent on your body to be working for the essential oils to work. So they will work independently of whatever's going on in your body, which is why they are so helpful when we're sick. They'll kind of bypass our own body's functioning, because if it's not functioning right, and it will do it on our behalf. Now, this was really interesting. So he spoke about this quorum sensing. So I hadn't heard of this before, but bacteria, they talk to each other, and they actually become stronger when they talk to each other. So when we get infected by bacteria, they'll grow and become stronger when they can communicate with each other. But certain essential oils can actually interfere with this communicating and make them weaker, so then we can use other essential oils to kill the bacteria. So I, again, don't use cinnamon and cassia enough. But this chemical in cassia and cinnamon, called cinnamaldehyde, actually interferes with this communicating between the bacteria. So it makes them weaker. So when we're sick, obviously that's why the On Guard has got cinnamon in it, helps to stop that communicating. Then we can use the On Guard as well, and cassia and other, and thyme, and all these antimicrobial oils to help kill the bacteria with more effect. So this is something to use when you've got a bacterial infection. And actually interesting is that cassia has more of this chemical, this cinnamaldehyde, than cinnamon. And it's actually a softer, it's a more gentle, it's not as spicy as cinnamon. So it can be used more on children as well, still diluted. But that was something I learnt and I thought was very interesting. And these are just some more things that these two oils help with as well. I've often heard cinnamon is very good with diabetes, so that's definitely something to use for that. Okay. Making sure I'm not missing anything out. No. Okay, so we know that essential oils support a healthy inflammation response. There are so many essential oils, and of course, the Lifelong Vitality helps with inflammation. And all disease comes from inflammation, so we really need to keep inflammation as low as we can. So frankincense is really anti-inflammatory, but oregano is one that's maybe not so recognised for its anti-inflammatory properties due to a chemical in it called EBCP. Now, I actually have had a friend who had severe Lyme disease, and she was in a lot of agony and very inflamed and in pain. And she did say that oregano was the one oil that helped her the most. And she used to dilute it, because it's very hot oil, and put it all over her body. And that helped greatly with inflammation. So don't forget oregano when it comes to inflammation. So it's great for helping aching joints. And of course, we know about the warming sensation. Anyone knows about that if you put it on? And it supports immune activity as well. So thyme, we've spoken about thyme already today. These are some of the things that thyme does. Snoring, you put a question mark there. I don't know why, because I have heard thyme really does help with snoring. Apparently putting it on your big toe is really effective. And there's just some more things about thyme. So definitely a good one to start using. This is another reason to start using thyme. So thyme contains thymol, and this actually preserves the DHA levels in the brain. DHA is just another way of saying the omega-3s, the essential omega-3s that are produced by the brain to help with brain functioning, cell development, anything to do with the brain. We need our omega-3s, and our brain does produce some. I mean, we obviously take more in because we need more. And again, the Lifelong Vitality is great for that. But thymol in thyme helps to preserve these levels in the brain. So thyme would be one to use frequently. Clove is one that's not spoken about enough. It's one of the highest antioxidants out there. So he was just mentioning clove again to us. This is something I didn't realize either. You may know this already. I didn't. But we know about frankincense killing cells, so getting damaged cells to commit suicide. Clove does the same. So that is very interesting. So anyone who knows anyone with cancer, clove would be a high up on the list one, along with the frankincense and sandalwood. I would highly recommend that. And look, it also helps with circulation and cardiovascular support as well. So clove is another great one. And these are just some little recipes, if you like, that he gave as well, some other tips that he likes to use. So I thought I'd share them with you. Okay, and just before I end, I'm just gonna, because there's a couple of slides that didn't have this on it. But he said citrus oils, stimulate your body to produce more glutathione. Now, glutathione is an essential amino acid that our body needs, but we don't produce a lot of it. So citrus oils, he said, is good to use with frankincense, and he uses copaiba on a daily basis. We know that copaiba helps with pretty much every system in our body, so that's why he suggests taking that daily. But also citrus oils are good to help stimulate glutathione as well. The other thing he mentioned was when using oils on your face, that wood oils help with deeper kind of skin repair and getting everything and looking lovely underneath, but to support the outer layers. But the floral oils are actually better for the superficial layers of the skin. Now, he did address also, just briefly, the topical application question of when you would dilute and when you don't dilute. And I think you guys already know this, and I think we have explained this, but it was great to hear it from Dr. Hill again, that he was talking about that penetration is how quickly an oil goes into your body, and then absorption is how quickly it is then absorbed around your body by all the cells. So he said when it comes to dilution, yes, of course, there's a bit of safety there with children especially, and with the hot, spicy oils. But really, the point why you would dilute is depending on the effect you want from the essential oil. So having it in a carrier oil just slows down the penetration and the absorption process. So if you want an oil to stay close to your skin, so say you're using frankincense for wrinkles, or wintergreen or oregano for, joint pain, then you want to keep it in that area for as long as possible. So then you would want to dilute it. And that's the best way of keeping it as a localized effect. Then if you want a systemic effect, that's when you would put it on the bottom of your feet or take it internally. They're the best ways for systemic effects. Okay, and that's pretty much it. He then ended by just saying that, doTERRA's whole focus is on healthcare, and they're not against medicine at all, but they believe that the daily self-care, the preventative healthcare is in great need, and that's where doTERRA excels, and that's where our mission is. He said that the executives work every single day. If they are not out in the field, they're in the office working. And he said that I give you my personal promise that our greatest interest is to not in any way harm or damage doTERRA, that they will do their part. They had a discussion recently, interestingly, because they are getting older, the executives, and they are going to be getting tired, but they're always looking forwards. They're always making sure that their company is completely stable, in terms of the essential oils not running out. They're always 20 years ahead of that. We got told at one of the conventions. But in terms of the business as well, they're really always projecting forwards and making sure that it's going to be completely stable, because doTERRA to them isn't just money. That's not what it's for. They want this company to be stable for, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years in the future, because of the mission that they believe doTERRA is. And that's what they're driven by, is to help people. And that's why they created this company. And that's why they've offered this opportunity to us, because they found that the network marketing model was the absolute best model to reach as many people as they could, as quickly as they could, and as effectively as they could. So, that's what we're part of. And I know I have friends that have come from executive positions and well-respected positions. And I'm sure, lots of you maybe sometimes have thought, what am I doing? I'm working for a network marketing company. Maybe you've thought like that, but actually you're working for way more than that. doTERRA, is this incredible company that is literally changing the world and leading science. And, soon it's going to be so recognised that it's going to be in so many hospitals and doctors are all going to be behind it. He did say that there are many doctors now in America that are talking about using the essential oils in implants as well in their hospitals to stop infections. So, we're helping to lead and revolutionise healthcare, which I just think is incredible, as well as building a lovely, solid business for ourselves and our family. So that was the presentation. So I hope I did it.
There's a couple of questions, babe. I'll ask you the questions if you want.
All right. Yes, please. Thanks. I'll stop sharing.
So what do you know what makes Melissa so expensive?
It's to do with the sourcing. So when oils are expensive, the only reason why they're expensive is because they're harder to source without using fertilizers. So that's why rose is the most expensive, because it's so hard to get pure rose, because aphids attack rose, so freely that it's very hard to get a rose that hasn't got any chemicals used on it, pesticides and fertilizers and stuff. So Melissa will be similar. I don't know the exact ins and outs, but that's why it's always down to the amount they can get. Oh, I did forget to tell you one really cool, interesting fact. He mentioned that soon Bulgaria, this is what they're hoping, they're going to take rose back to Bulgaria, because that's where rose is originally from. But farmers weren't really harvesting it because they weren't getting enough money for it. But doTERRA are going to bring it back to Bulgaria, and he said that the rose should be a lot cheaper when they do, which is exciting. So at the moment you cannot buy rose. You cannot buy rose, and it would be worth, I think it's £500 for a 5 ml bottle, something like that. So Melissa was at that.
That's what it is now.
Yeah, so it won't be that when it's sourced from Bulgaria. But Melissa, it will be because of that. It's because of the sourcing. Same with frankincense. You need tons and tons of frankincense just to get a tiny bit of oil from it. So it depends. So it's always dependent on the amount of material you need to produce the 15 ml bottle and how easy it is to source. That's why. Okay.
And do you know, is dill essential oil going to be offered to the market?
I don't know that. It wasn't it? It was a special. So they're always expanding their essential oils, and certainly the ones that have been offered as a special are probably the ones that will be offered soon. But they won't want to offer it until they've built up a sustainable farming procedure for it and got partners, and that takes time, to build up these relationships with farmers. So I don't know. Sorry.
And did Dr. Hill say when we're going to have access to any of the clinical trial stuff?
He didn't. He said that I wouldn't be surprised if they want Aromatic Science. I haven't had a look myself, but doTERRA post all their own personal research onto aromaticscience.com. I haven't looked on that for a while. I spent the first couple of years looking at it a lot. It's not just doTERRA's research either. There will be other research on there, but that's where doTERRA will post all of their research. So sometimes they'll have links on their doTERRA.com site. If you go on the science blog and have a look at that, they often have links. I haven't looked personally, and he didn't say, but that's where they'll be.
Okay, I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm just checking the questions. No, but really great webinar, babe. I enjoyed that.
Did you?
Learned a lot. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the lovely comments. Thanks, everyone. Someone said, "How did you have time to do that?"
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, everyone, for your congratulations.
Yeah.
I don't normally get to tell people because I get so sick. So that's why we're telling people so early.
Yeah, well done for not throwing up.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done.
I'm gonna
go do it now.
Go. Lovely seeing you all, and I hope you enjoyed that. And enjoyed the
See you, everyone.
I do.
Chat soon. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Have a wonderful month.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks
Congratulations.
So much.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, next month we've got a spotlight on LRP. We've got one of the best LRP people in Europe coming on. So come on to that for some LRP tips. But yeah.
And she's from Romania. So
From
how she
Romania.
gets people in LRP in Romania, I would never know.
Yes.
Awesome tips.
But
Yeah.
she showed me her back office, and it's 76%, which is
Wow.
astounding.
I
In
know.
Romania, I mean, I know doTERRA's average is 80%, not 80, 70%, but hers is higher than that average in Romania. That's just fantastic. And I looked at ours, and it was 46%. So we need to work on that one.
So we've invited her to come and teach us.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
All right, I'm going to go. See you guys. Lovely seeing
Hello,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
See you. Thanks. Well done, Lindsay and Daniel as well. Brilliant.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely amazing what they've
They're
achieved.
lovely.
Mhm. Thanks, Kev and Annie. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.